baker murdered in the opening, Baker Bob, had a shop next to the wool shop in a close shave. Continuing pun aside, he's also named after Bob Baker, a writer on every Wallace and Gromit film after the first. Wowzers, if someone I knew was that heavy a sleeper, I'd think they had hypersomnia. It's always neat how the duo's getting ready routine changes every time we see it, due to their new job. But though it's great to just bask with these characters, it's telling of the film's pacing problem that it comes so quickly that we're caught off guard, and don't get to fully enjoy it.
Oh dear, another baker. Still, looking on the bright side, I suppose it means more business for us, eh, Gromit?
Yeah, can you tell the film never quite reconciles the tonal upset of the 12 murders crucial to its setup? Wallace's apron vanishes and reappears enough times that a few examples will suffice, folks. Apparently, this is how physics work. Go figure. Not only do they give Feathers, the penguin from the Ron Trousers, a poster cameo, but to judge from the ladder and knotted bedsheets, he is Skyped. That's detail beyond the written puns this series specialises in. I'd wager it breaks some safety violation to have the crocodile pen in a straight line from the zoo gate. We can see the gate and the van on that side, yet the bike is here rather than at the point of impact.
The baker like
We were just passing by, going for a walk, and Fluffles insisted on dropping in.
Gotta love Gromit's attempts to squash Wallace's romance. After seeing the bike was fine, he already knows something's up.
Manage without me, won't you, lad?
Even when eyebrows aren't involved, Gromit always expresses his thoughts perfectly. The combination of that sigh and eye roll is magnifique.
But I'm in me work things.
And yet he's not when they're out and about. This brooding romance sequence, though amusing, shows another problem, the references and spoofs being a shot's driving point. For a series that's been very good about making references fit in naturally, that's not good. Paella had a coat and scarf for this invading the home shot that she's never actually seen wearing. What's more, she leaves it and her hat behind when leaving later. Like much, it's too brief, but this cute scene between Gromit and Fluffles is a highlight. Her combination of being constantly scared stiff, but still retrieving Gromit's things is so sweet, and coupled with all the blushes and reactions, it just makes you wanna aww till the calves come home.
Gromit?
It's not Wallace and Gromit without a perfectly timed, oh no, eyebrow reaction from the world's best animated dog. As always, the creeping Hitchcock dread produced during this sequence is brilliant. The camera angles, lightning, creaking stairs, refracted reflections, it's all there. Here we run into a tonal issue. The tone and jolliness of Wallace and Gromit makes it impossible to actually do anything with the psychological insanity of a serial killer that marks kills like this. Pity, because that's such an effective, chilling, memorable image on its own terms.
I'm sure I heard something.
Fluffles checking under the bed makes it clear she suspects Gromit is here. This scene could have really done with her glancing up, seeing him there, Gromit silently communicating to keep stum, and her choosing to stay silent. Missed opportunity. Given Gromit drove the van over last night, Paella surely must have noticed it outside her house. She'd have asked Wallace. He'd have said Gromit went to return her purse. Given she found it by her open diary, she'd realise he knows. A plot hole easily avoided if Gromit had walked over last night. She cops him knowing by seeing him with the diary anyway. Where did Gromit's tail go? They had 5 Gromit models when shooting. I'd guess this is a tailless one, used for shots where it wouldn't be on camera, which mistakenly got used here.
Get your hands off me! I hate flour, I hate bread, and I hate bakers!
Anytime now, Wallace. Anytime to connect the dots together. The puzzle does say ages 5 and up.
Oh, thanks, old pal.
This scene of quiet reflection between the duo is great. Despite how much Wallace mistreats Gromit, the dog unconditionally loves him. Rather than focusing on Gromit's frustration at being unable to spell out the mystery, he instead does what he can to cheer him up. It's this gentle, sweet touch, always present without ever being over sentimental, that's key to the duo and their world. A dog truly is a man's best friend.
Oops, must be my keys.
Gromit should definitely realise that's just an excuse, and that she steps out of the detective's range right after tossing her purse at him to try and fake it. F heart G, as in, Fluffles loves Gromit. Aww. It also shows that Fluffles has been lonely at home and probably wistfully thinking about Gromit while in the yard. But mostly, aww. There is no reason whatever that cha-ching here clashing its cymbals couldn't be heard under the blanket. Trying to kill Wallace via a bomb, surely she knows the evidence will lead back to her, right? Her DNA is all over the house.
Curse that balloon. And curse that prevailing southwesterly. They'll be there in no time.
Ha! What a delightfully quirky British way to state the winds are strong.
Gromit, it's a bomb! The cake's a bomb!
Gromit's eye roll and putting his hand to his face is expected. What seals it is him tapping his fingers as Wallace puts the piece together, like he's thinking, "Almost there, master. You're only a good 10 minutes behind." How did she catch up if the balloon gave the dog such a boost? This scene of Gromit not wanting to harm the ducks or the cat nuns is both hilarious unto itself and a great subtle nod to Adam West's Batman. Also, Wallace and Gromit are now 2 for 2 on great nun jokes. This oh-so-British jab at the neighbouring county of Yorkshire and Gromit deciding it'll make the perfect bomb detonating place is my favourite gag in the whole film. The rivalries up north are real. Gromit's Carbonite imprint is flipped for some mad reason. I'm more disposed to this alien spoof as it's one most viewers will get, plus it's so satisfying to see Fluffles stand up to her tormentor. As a side note, she's been on all fours all film, barring her solo scene with Gromit earlier, so her switching to a bipedal stance visually signifies her fighting back too. The sail had just swung past the window earlier, so the bomb could not have gotten caught in it. It would need to rotate another quarter for a sail to catch it. The balloon's just floating there, not moving, untethered. Yeah, no.
I've got a bomb in me pants!
Given this series has no reservations about using British terms over American ones, bit odd Wallace says pants instead of trousers, even if it rolls off the tongue better. Sure, I'd say pants, but I'm a ghost. Regional terminology standards don't apply here. What's going on with Paella's model here? Intentional to show her insanity, no doubt, but unsettling for the wrong reasons. While the climax is certainly fun, it's a fair shade below the 3 previous finales for the duo, all of which were legitimately fantastic action set pieces. This is fine, but it doesn't stick with you.
I think I need a cup of tea after all that.
Well, Wallace got over her death pretty quickly. After a grand day out, every Wallace and Gromit story has a moment where Gromit cries, usually at the unfairness of the mess he's in, or at Wallace being in danger. There's a subversion here, in that type of moment being given to Fluffles. Gromit is instead sad at his lost love. Neat idea. Of course, that comes at the cost of the dog-like humanity Gromit brings as our anchor being rather reduced and diluted. There's some weird mirroring going on with their van, because the sticker, indent and door handle are in specific positions at the film's start, get flipped 55 seconds later, and are back to normal again at the end. Yes, it's probably different van models or something. Apparently Puccini is both a shoe brand and a band name in this world. I'm pretty sure that's not how trademarks work. The ending is really sweet, watching the duo welcome into their family someone reeling from both PTSD and the death of a tormentor she still cared for. It's kept from being sappy by using the song Puppy Love, and Gromit getting so love-struck he almost crashes the car. It's nice to hear the main theme for the duo again, but it popping up here after not appearing in normal form all film only highlights how the music has far less standout moments than previous films. Callouts to previous shorts aside, this film has plenty of joke baskets that echo previous ones. The book Gromit studies, its title is very similar to one Feathers nicked in the wrong trousers, implying a series for intelligent canines. The Weetabix-like name of Fluffle's sleeping box should be familiar, as Gromit hid in a Meetabix box while observing Feathers, and a Grand Day Out swan-like duck matches are back. By continuing these puns, and many more, they feel real within this world, on top of being amusing. Certainly the pacing is a big problem. This moves too quickly. Moments don't always build up enough, and it feels too plot and dialogue heavy. Even most Gromit-focused sequences, normally the highlights, feel this way. For 2 examples, when Paella and Fluffles leave, both return in about 40 seconds, just after a "cheer up lad" scene between the duo. Now, previous films did cut written material. As a student film, A Grand Day Out would have never filmed its projected 40 minutes, so the moon was scaled back to the one robot cooker. And even after omitting subplots, A Close Shave's first cut came out 5 minutes too long, but that allowed them to edit it like a live-action film. Point is, those films remained well-paced and retained moments of quiet wit and pathos because they wrote material out. This feels like they crammed it in, removing or shortening not plot-essential material instead. Curse of the Were-Rabbit's pace slowed at times, but that's far less severe, given much of Wallace and Gromit's appeal comes from relaxing in the wit of the characters and their world. Take that away, and you're left with a very enjoyable film that, alas, has less that sticks with you than their other adventures. The other issue is the plot is basically a close shave redux. The duo's new business gets them acquainted with a woman behind the mystery, and Wallace falls for that woman. Only changes the woman being the villain rather than her dog. For a series that keeps shifting genre while trafficking in thriller film language, it comes across as rather stale. Oh, and Paella has no dimension. She's batshit crazy for sure, but while dangerous in plot, the film's rushed nature means she gets no standout moments like Preston, to say nothing of Feathers. When a diamond robbing penguin is more effective, tenfold, than a serial killer, something's not right. The last thing that doesn't feel quite right is the darkness brought about by the murder angle. Wallace and Gromit always has dark elements, but they are counterbalanced by the optimism and sweetness of the duo and their world. Even in a close shave, having the cyber dog restored to his original function is an important light touch. While this film does end on a hopeful note, with the duo helping Fluvels move past her trauma, the dark elements often overwhelm in a sour way, not helped by being the first time someone dies. 13 people at that, even if 11 are off screen. That's a lot of complaining for a short that's still great on its own merits. The puns, Easter eggs and references are still witty, the look, feel and wit of the world is still tangible, the fingerprints of the plasticine are still ever present, and Gromit is still a masterclass of pantomime acting. Despite some staleness wafting around this one, it's a grand old treat. Even weaker Wallace and Gromit is better than most animation out there. -16. It's easy to be hard on this one, but I just remain grateful for getting more Wallace and Gromit.